Hello, it's Robin, pronouns she, they, and I wanted to talk today a little bit about whether trans women are allies of cis women or whether they take away from cis women. So I'm gonna go with allies, and I'm just gonna say a little bit about why. Now, please excuse the sounds in the background. It's the UK. It's bonfire night, and there's a lot of fireworks going on. So if you happen to hear any of that, that's what's going on there. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about feminism, not the trans exclusionary kind, which I obviously view as a bad thing, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm just going to talk about normal feminism. And my understanding of normal feminism is that it is about having equal opportunities for all. It's not about equal opportunities for women necessarily, but equal opportunities for all. Now, of course, that's mainly relevant in terms of the opportunities that women have. We have something called a glass ceiling. It's more difficult for women to rise into the top brackets in terms of jobs, their careers, and all that sort of stuff. There aren't many things really that men can't enjoy as such. So why do I think that I, as a trans woman, would be an ally in the sense of this? So, in my case, I thought I was a man for 46 years. I had an inkling that something might be different about me, but I thought I was a man for 46 years. I lived my life as a man for 46 years. And then I became a trans woman, which I've been for the last 4 years. And I've noticed that some of the things I took for granted as a man, I just can't take for granted anymore. Not long after coming out as trans, I was made redundant. Now, that had nothing to do with me being trans. A number of the people in the company were made redundant at the same time. Now, the relevance of that is that I needed to get a new job after that. I'm a software engineer, just so you know. And I found it a lot more difficult than I should have. In fact, I ended up setting up as self-employed, but that's another story. I just want to talk a little bit about my experience, because I had a lot of interviews in that time, and they all resulted in rejections. Well, there was one in particular mind that they did approach me afterwards and wanted me to do some freelance work for them, so it wasn't completely that I couldn't get anywhere. But I know some of those interviews went really well, and I'd had some interviews in my career as a man, presenting as a man as well, and I know it was a lot easier then for me, because some of these interviews, they went really, really well, but they didn't think in one particular case, I remember them commenting that if she was applying for a job with us just as a software engineer, not as a senior level, then she would have got it. But we need someone who can display some team leadership traits. I have been a team leader, perhaps not necessarily in name, but I have served that function. I've run meetings, I've run teams, and that's on my CV. The interview itself went really, really well for that one. So I have an awareness of what it's like to be able to do these things just as good as a man would, and yet not get the position because of my gender. Now I'm a company director. I'm a company director of a company that has 5 directors, and we use contractors in our business as well. And I am the only woman there. Obviously I'm a trans woman, I'm still a woman, but I'm the only woman there. And maybe it's because of women not being pushed towards STEM. That's science, technology, engineering and mathematics, those disciplines that you would find someone who is an engineer obviously has to have the interests in those areas to be able to be a software engineer. I've known some female software engineers and they've been good. They've been very good. And I think they've actually been better than really their station showed. They were good, but not many. But then you look at the glass ceiling. I basically installed the glass ceiling over my own head, kind of thing. So I just know what it's like to be a woman just from having that experience. I know what it's like to be a woman and have that bias, because there is a bias. There's a bias that we probably all have, actually. But I think it's mainly men. I think it's unconscious, to be fair, but it exists. I'm just really aware of that, and we haven't, as a company, interviewed any women yet for any positions, but that's just because they haven't been available. If they had been, then we would have done that. But I'm doing the same job as my colleagues in essence, and I'm getting the level of pay that I should be getting. But I think that's quite rare, and I think it's partly because I'm a trans woman and already had built my career up to the point where I am, and I think it's also because the people, well, my associates in work are people that I've known for some years, and they know what I'm capable of. They know exactly that, what I can do. I can do some things that nobody else can do. And that's not me being big-headed, it's just I have knowledge about some products and knowledge about some technologies that the knowledge within me is unique, and that would apply to any engineer. But I've got this awareness. This is the thing. I've got this awareness, so I am keenly aware of how people can be disadvantaged just by their gender. Now, that's just one characteristic, of course. You have several characteristics. You have race, you have disability, you have age. But it wasn't until I transitioned that I became aware of this this unconscious bias, this level of discrimination that exists on a level that it affected me. And I think that's something that I will always carry with me, and it's just something that has made me aware of that, and it's not fair. And I would like the world to be a fair place. So from that point of view, I would say it's good for trans women to be, I would say they are, in general, allies to cis women. From that point of view, they're going to know that they're going to know that the world is not a fair place. It's certainly not fair for trans women, and I think trans women suffer from more discrimination than cis women. I'm not complaining about it, it's just the way it is. But we're certainly not in any way, shape or form enemies to cis women. We're not out to get cis women. We're not out to erase cis women at all. Non-trans women, if you prefer that, although cis is not a slur despite what Elon Musk may think. So I think that's all I have for today. Feel free to comment. Please be respectful in the comments if you want your comment to stay visible and stay up. Please don't feed any trolls that you might find in the comments. I will deal with them by deleting their comments. That is the way this should be. I can't guarantee that the comments are a safe space for anyone. But thank you for listening to me, and I'll see you again next week.